Let's go ahead and start. And I'm going to say good evening. It's 5 o'clock, so let's all get started. I like to reward people for being on time. My name is Susan Windmiller, and I'm chairperson of Ruthless Central Florida. And welcome to Power Hour. So thank you all for being with us this evening. Thank you for your support of our candidates. I also want to thank our board. So if you're on the board, let's raise your hand so we can see you, Sue. We couldn't do this without such a solid team. I want to thank our speaker, our trailblazer, Lindachapin, and of course our moderator, Jackie Brockington. And most of all, I want to thank our candidates that this is day 49 of this really tough campaign, and they are giving us an hour of their time this evening to be with us. So we are really grateful and appreciate that. What I want to say to you is this: our candidates need your support. So please go to their website tonight. You know who they are. Contribute as much as you possibly can, even a little bit more, or give what you are able to manage. Volunteer and volunteer your time and your talent to work for them. Whatever you give, you are going to be part of their win. I also want to recognize our congressional team who are not a part of our Central Florida Roots list, but a shout out to Congresswomen Stephanie Murphy and Val Demings, who are both up for re-election. And also, since Shayla Asensio was on our team, her boss, Congressman Darren Soto. I just want to remind everyone that we're a grassroots organization. So we need you to re-elect our candidates like Anna and Geraldine. We need you to help flip seats like those for Patricia and Pasha and Tracy. We want to break some glass ceilings for Deborah and Moira. We have so much work to do. And how about that kick-ass endorsement for Patricia Sigmund this morning? I mean,
yes.
We want to support Patricia and her bid to flip her seat as well. So we need you to connect with us. If you haven't yet, take out your phone, go to Ruthless Central Florida on social media platforms and like us. Share our posts. Put on your calendar October 13th, that's our next event, and bring 3 friends with you. The whole point is that we're an army. We're an army of women mostly, but some men too. And we can't do this without all of you joining forces with us. So I just implore you, give your treasure, give your time, give your talent, and let's make this thing happen and win it November 3rd. I'm really glad to turn this over to Jackie Brockington. She's our moderator this evening and a familiar face on the I-4 corridor. She's retired from Spectrum and a former news anchor. Jackie, take it away.
Thank you so much, Susan. Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to serve as your moderator for this evening with all of these wonderful women and some gentlemen who have joined us. Our time is very rigid tonight, and so I'm going to start with introducing our very special guest, who probably needs no introduction, and that would be the Honorable Lindachapin, who served as the first elected mayor of Orange County, Florida from 1990 to 1998. Her accomplishments are so many in public office, and I'll just give you one: the construction of the nation's second largest convention center and the new Orange County Courthouse, among other things. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Lindachapin.
Thank you, Jackie. It is nice to be among friends during times that are making us very nervous. You know, because of my support for Ruthless, I am occasionally asked if I am committed to voting for women, even if they're might be a more experienced or better qualified male on the primary ballot. And of course, the answer is no. But there are certain presumptions that I always have in mind when I assess these candidates, and they're important to me, often more important than years of experience or legislative accomplishments. The first one is parity. In the Congress of the United States, there are currently 101 women in the House of Representatives, or 23.6%. In the Senate, there are 26 women. The math is easy to do and totally unacceptable. In the Florida House, if I'm counting correctly, there are 31 women out of 120 representatives. In the Florida Senate, 12 women out of 40. We can do better than that. We will do better than that. The second element is context. We know that women bring certain experiences and concerns that men may not prioritize. The debate is different if there's a woman at the table who is experienced in the cost and the difficulties of childcare. The discussions need to include the problems of caring for elderly parents. Of course, there are always needs for representation on critical issues like budgets and pay equity and family leave, not to mention war and peace and a few other critical issues. And the final factor I always take into consideration is motivation. Just what are the reasons that someone has decided to step into the difficult arena of elective politics? You know, I really like to compare this time that we're in right now to the 90s, when friends like Glenda Hood and Tony Jennings, and on the state level, Betty Castor and Helen Gordon Davis, decided it was important to carry our ideals and our expertise into the election cycle. It was a time that impelled us to think we can do better than that. Our ideas are important, they matter. And I saw that in the last congressional cycle. And again this year, on every level, state, local, national, women are stepping up. And I truly believe that we are more inclined to activism because of the things we care about in our communities and our families. And of course, added to that in recent times have been deep concerns for the direction of our country and the future of our children and grandchildren. Every day brings more and more chilling stories about climate change, about fires, about so many things that are going wrong in our nation and our world. So if I might, let me tell you a brief story that I heard, and Marty may have heard it too, because she also went to the Kennedy School. And it's about the terrible genocide in Rwanda. And after that ended, the women of Rwanda formed a group initially to talk about what should happen to the thousands of orphaned children. But after they came together, they decided we can't ever let this happen again. This must never happen again. And they put forward a balanced slate of candidates. And Rwanda then became the first parliament in the world to have a majority of women, which they maintain to this day. And what a difference that has made. So those are my measurements. They're not always in every case. They don't every time push me to vote for a female candidate. I don't think that would be responsible. But I will also add that the kind of vetting and analysis that Ruth's list gives to the candidates in each election cycle are a very important factor for me that I can add to the list I've already discussed. Because I understand the principles of this organization, I can expect that their chosen candidates are going to care about the things I care about. And because of the training and the support, I can be comfortable that it's a good place to put my support and my contributions, since the opportunity for a successful candidate is very much enhanced by the support of Ruth's list. So tonight I will be with you to raise a glass and urge our public and our financial and our volunteer support of the Ruth's list 2020 candidates. And thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindachapin. Thank you so much. As we said in the very beginning, we have 10 candidates who are joining us this evening. They will each have a firm 2 minutes to tell you why it's so important to have their support and what they hope to do. And what we're going to do, we're going to start off with, also let me just say that Susan will be our timekeeper. And when she says time is up, time is up. So with that, we're going to begin with Yesenia Baron, who is a candidate for Apopka Council, Seat 2. Now, this is a special election to fill an unexpired term. Ms. Baron?
Hi, good evening, Ruthless. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you tonight. I hope you guys hear me okay. I just wanted to say happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Tracy, I hear you. I'll help you out. My name is Yesenia Baron, and I'm running for Apopka City Council Seat 2. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a small business owner. I retired from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement here in Orlando just about 8 years ago, and my husband and I opened up a small business. And basically, I am a child of Cuban immigrants, youngest of 4, And I've learned early on how to work hard and persevere because at 8 years old, my parents divorced. So being the youngest of four, I had to push. So I am a graduate from the Florida International University with a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice, as well as St. Thomas University. I received a Master's in Science and Organizational Management. Both of these degrees are a first for me as far as my family. No one else has received these titles, so I kind of give my pat on the back because I love to be first. Not in first place, but first in doing things. So here I am as far, 1 minute, thank you. So I'm running for City of Apopka Council seat because as a small business owner, I understand the struggles that we have here in the city. I want to create a live here, play here, work here environment for our city. I want to make sure that I work on leveraging economic partnerships opportunities within our city. Just really say, hey, here's Apopka. We're a fantastic city. Come stay here, come live here, come work here. We have a lot of amenities. I want to make sure that we leverage on our springs, make sure we have a safe ecotourism for our springs as well as our Lake Apopka. And finally, and done?
10.
Oh, thank you. And finally, I want to be able to work hard on the city council, especially during this pandemic, to really make sure that we are fiscally responsible and that our budget is in great shape moving forward. So thank you so much. My name is Yesenia Baron. I'm running for Apopka City Council seat 2. Please vote for me November 3rd. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you so much, Yesenia. Moving right along, the next up we have Barbara Katie, who is a candidate for House District 42.
Jackie, just so you'll know, I'm sorry, Barbara, hang on. Pasha Baker has joined us.
Okay, all righty. Pasha Baker, Sanford native, candidate for House District 28. Pasha, glad to have you.
Pasha there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay, you want me to go or Barbara?
Yes.
No, you go. Time starts now.
All right. Good afternoon and good evening, ladies. My name is Pasha Baker. I am running for House District 28. My family is 3 generations here in Seminole County and in the city of Sanford. For the past 10 years, I've dedicated my life to serving our community throughout the district and throughout Seminole County. This race is 127 years in the making, meaning that it is historic because I will be the first woman and first Black to ever hold the seat and the first Black to win in Seminole County. A few things about this seat. This seat actually turned blue in 2018 for both Andrew Gillum and Senator Bill Nelson. That means the energy to elect a Democrat in Seminole County is here. And this race is pivotal because it is dependent upon the votes for District 28. If we flip half of this county blue, then it has no other choice but to flip blue for the entire county. That means up and down the ticket. That means for Patricia Sigmund. That also means for Biden-Harris. That's how pivotal this race is. So I'm asking you today for your support, not just to support me, but to support the energy that is in Seminole County right now. Because we all can say that change is coming and change is on the way. But change is right now. Our D to R split, our Democrats to Republicans for registrations in Seminole County is even, with about 90,000 blue-leaning, Democrat-leaning NPAs as our swing voters. Our district is 51% women. As former Mayor Chapin said, that she cares about the values that Ruthless puts on us. My opponent was one of the co-signers for the abortion bill that went through the House that said, regardless if you were raped or if you had incest, you have to go back to that person for consent. Now, I'm not about telling you or saying what's right or wrong. I'm about being fair. That doesn't sound fair to me. And for so long, there has been an attack on women's bodies that was already decided by federal court many, many decades ago, called Roe versus Wade. And we keep attacking those rights for women. This has to stop. And that proves to me that there needs to be more leadership for women in state legislature through up and down. That's why I'm asking for your support today.
All right. Thank you so much, Pasha. Thank you so much.
Here, here, Pasha, and there is at least one guy on the phone, okay?
You're out of turn, sir. Okay. All right. Moving right along.
Thank you for supporting.
Next up, we have Barbara Katie. Katie, who is a candidate for House District 42. Barbara, you're muted. Barbara, you're muted. You're muted still. You want us to come back to you?
No.
Maybe they muted her.
Can you unmute her, whoever is the host? Susan, can you unmute her, please?
I can't.
Can you unmute yourself, Barbara?
It doesn't show her as being muted.
Huh,
Yes, it is.
okay. Barbara, if you can work on that for just a moment.
She is.
Let me look on the.
I've unmuted her.
Now.
Okay.
It shows her as being open.
Yeah, it does. It shows you as being open. Well, I tell you what, we will come back to you, okay? Can you work on that for me?
On your microphone, Barbara, just in case something happened on your own mic, or your volume or something. Could be at your end.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to come back, okay? And if you can help me with that, Susan, if you see her come up, just let me know.
How will we know? Because it looks like she's fine.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to
Have her sign off and sign back in.
Barbara, sign off and sign back in again. Okay, and we'll come back to you. All right, thank you so much. Is Lynn on the line? Lynn Moira Dichter, who is a candidate for Seminole County Tax Collector.
I'm here.
All right, go right ahead. Good afternoon.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry I was a tad late. I am Lynn Moira Dichter. I am a candidate for Seminole County Tax Collector. When elected on November 3rd, I will be the first woman ever elected to the job of Seminole Tax Collector, and I will be the first Democrat in more than 50 years. It is a campaign of firsts. It is my first run for office, but as a former journalist, I spent decades watching the political machinations in Seminole County and knew that I wanted to leave it better than I found it. And how better to leave it and protect the small business owners and the hardworking tax-paying families of Seminole County than to step in after 30 years of corruption and fleecing the families of Seminole County with the previous incumbent, even the one before him. It has been a generational thing, and now my opponent wants to join that team. So it is time, with a groundswell of support that I have seen in the last 10 months that I've been running, whether it is making phone calls, making donations, texting, or sending postcards. We've had people come out of the woodwork to be supportive of our campaign because they know that Seminole County is ready for a change. And it is my pleasure to be the candidate that starts to make that change as we turn Seminole County blue, one vote at a time and one woman at a time. And yes, for the man who is on, one man at a time when it comes to November 4th. So I hope you've registered to vote by mail. If you haven't, we will tell you how to do that. It is very, very important that you contribute to the candidates that you see on today's call and that you really support them and give them the leg up they need to get to the finish line. Thank you very much. And I look forward to your support and your vote on November 3rd.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Now I'm going to go back to Barbara Katie. Barbara, are you able?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
All right. I don't know what happened. I'm terribly sorry, but yes, I'm Barbara Katie, and I'm running for the House District 42, which is a very important seat. It is a red to blue seat, but it is an open seat, and it is one of the last strongholds in Central Florida of red. So we really need to flip it. My opponent is a disgraced county commissioner from Osceola County. He was, right after the ballots went out for his primary, he was arrested by FDLE for impersonating a police officer. And then following that, the governor removed him from his seat, suspended him from his seat. So he's disgraced commissioner. He's been arrested facing felony charges. They're very afraid because I've been running for the seat since 2018 and people know me. What we need to do in this district is have somebody representing the working families, the diversity, of our community. And this man has been pretty much with the Cattlemen's Association and the Good Old Boys Club. He came into Point Siena, which is a very Caribbean, Hispanic, wonderful community, and basically insulted all the people by saying they have too many cars and that's part of the problem with the traffic we have. So, I mean, the man is really not fit for anything other than his little section. But, you know, we've been working at it. My campaign's doing great. We've got wonderful endorsements. We've got money. We actually started out more than he started out in the fall because he spent all his money trying to win his primary. And the Republican Party's so nervous that they sent out this nasty little flyer, little mailer that basically says I'm, you know, a radical and listed all these terrible things that I'm going to eliminate health insurance and do all this. So they're obviously very worried. So I will need more donations to fight this guy. I believe we're going to win. I believe we're going to win. I have a bipartisan support. I have Republicans, Democrats, and no party affiliates supporting me because of my community activism. I was right there supporting the community when the county commission and this man, Fred Hawkins, brought in toxic coal ash to put in his family's landfill. He's done all kinds of backdoor deals. He wants to put a toll road through our conservation land that Orange County and Osceola County share. And then on top of that, the Osceola County Commission wanted to usurp Orange County's voters' rights to vote for an amendment for their charter having to do with Split Oak. So there's a lot of controversy, and I am coming out as the candidate for the people, and people know who I am. I have Trump supporters voting for me because they dislike this man so much, and they know me as fair and somebody who will work across the aisle. So please, if you know anyone who's looking to donate, I put my information on, and this is the nasty thing that they're sending out. So I kind of feel like this is a badge of honor. Anna Eskamani told me, once they do this to you, you're doing well. So, so that's it. So please, I'm so happy to see everybody again, and good luck to all you amazing women. I think we're going to take it this year. So Barbara Katie, House District 42, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Is Anna Eskamani in the room? Has she been able to join us yet? Okay, moving right along then, we'll get back to her, should she join us on the Zoom. Dolores Guzman, who is a candidate for House District 27.
Is Dolores here?
You're muted.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dolores Guzman, and I'm running for Florida State House District 27. I am a mom, a grandma, a caregiver for my mother that's 86. And when I am not in the campaign trail, making phone calls right now to the voters, I will be either helping someone join healthcare, because that is what I do every day for a living. I would like to remind all candidates to please embrace your Hispanic communities as they celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And I decided to run because I'm sick of Tallahassee forgetting about my district. I believe that with the right leadership in Florida can be the state that everyone looks after by creating policy for the future. Living in campaigning in this time of COVID has opened my eyes, both as a candidate and a citizen, to many issues that we must fix and help Floridians with access to health care, unemployment, and we have all of us that are running and all of us that are going to win will have a lot of work to do in Tallahassee because of all the things that the Republicans have done in the past. I'm sure that I will win and be in the next legislature, but I can't do this alone. Please consider supporting my campaign by donating through my website or volunteering to make phone calls. With redistricting in the horizon, this is the most important election in modern times. Please join me.
It'll probably be mine. I'll just, okay, great.
All right, thank you so much. And if you're not speaking, if you'd be kind enough to mute your mic so that we can have clearly hear the candidates who are speaking. Next up, a candidate for Seminole County House District 29 is Tracy Gannon. Are you there, Tracy?
Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Hello, 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 everybody. My name is Tracy Gannon. I'm running for the House District 29. I'm a single mother. I've got 3 lovely daughters, and I've lived here in Seminole County for 23 years. Why am I running? Well, I'm running because of failed leadership in Seminole County and in Tallahassee. I'm running because our leaders have closed the door on COVID, on healthcare, on unemployment, on the environment, and on public education. You know, all my daughters have received excellent public education here in Seminole County, and I'm running against someone who has repeatedly voted since he's been in since 2008 to defund public education, to strip it away, take the money and throw it to charter schools that have no accountability and no oversight. I'm running against someone because we live in a beautiful Seminole County. I live in the spring, so I have a natural spring in my backyard, and I'm running against someone who each and every time has been given the opportunity to save our environment, has ruled and voted against it. Basically, his last vote was against the rural boundary. I'm running against somebody who does not even want to extend Medicaid in light of this pandemic and in light of the fact that we have over 800,000 Floridians and 40,000 veterans without health care in Florida. And I'm running against the creator back in 2011, who ratified Rick Scott's unemployment plan. I'm running against the person who created this unemployment debacle. So why am I running? How can I not run? How could I not run for the constituents in my district when they're calling out to me? When all I hear from my town hall, when he hasn't had one Zoom instructional meeting on how to navigate and get a loan for small business, when he hasn't reached out and extended any hands on how to facilitate healthcare. That's why I'm running. I'm running because we need people in Tallahassee who listen to people. And you know how I know that? I look at my donors. I've had over 1,000 donors from $5 to $1,000. We are a grassroots movement powered by people. And I look at his donors, and each of those donors are corporate lobbyists. He is beholden to corporate lobbyists, and so his vision is not the same vision that I share. And now we need someone in Tallahassee because we honestly cannot afford to have 2 more years, 4 more years, 8 more years of this. What if another pandemic happens? So I'm running to make Seminole County safer. I'm running with your help. Follow me, Pagan for Florida. I'm getting the hook.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy, very much. And now up next that we have candidate for the supervisor of elections for Seminole County, Deborah Palalian.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. So I'm going to tell you briefly about myself, the things I would do different if I were your supervisor of elections, and some things about our current supervisor of elections that we need to know. So I am a data analyst. I work at the Institute of Internal Auditors in Lake Mary, Florida. I have a master's in mass communication. So what I do every day is I analyze survey data. I hear that tiny bit of noise, but I analyze survey data. And a survey is basically a multiple choice question and you need to report it correctly. I'm working for internal auditors. They are picky people. And an election is the same way. I have the right skills for this. I've been in Seminole County and nearly 30 years, raised 2 sons here. They've both graduated from the University of Florida, as did I. And I am ready for this job. So what would I do different? Well, since we're starting Hispanic Heritage Month, I want to talk about access to information in Spanish in Seminole County. And so the thing that first caught my attention is when you call the supervisor of elections office, you hear 30 seconds of speaking in English only before you get that little comment that says for Spanish, you know, dial 5. They say it in Spanish, of course. 30 seconds. Nobody's going to wait 30 seconds. You dial 5. Most of them are just told to go look at the website in Spanish. On the phone in English, you can request vote by mail with the prompts, but you can't do it in Spanish. It's not even offered. And when you see something printed that's in English and Spanish, the Spanish is very small. It's at the bottom. It's hard to read. It's hard to see. This is unacceptable. At the polls, The bilingual poll workers are there because it's required, but they don't have a sign and they don't have a button, so no one knows who they are. So these things are unacceptable. We have 50,000 people with Latin heritage in Seminole County, and we need to serve them. It's 15% of our registered voters. I am for that 100%. I'd also have prepaid postage for mail ballots, early voting at Seminole State College. That has been one of my top issues. A user-friendly website. It's so bad I actually go to other counties to find the information I need, or I will go to the Division of Elections because I can't find it in Seminole County and I know what I'm looking for. So let's talk about who's the supervisor of elections now. His name is Chris Anderson. And I think the thing that we need to remember is his past employer was Mr. Joel Greenberg, who Moira has had her challenges with, and now he's out of the race. But remember that Mr. Greenberg hired Chris Anderson to be his chief investigations officer in 2017 and 2018. His role was internal investigations. So the things that we're hearing Joel Greenberg being investigated for now took place during that time period. I don't know what did or did not happen, but I do know that he is a political appointee with connections that we need to break, and I would like his tenure to be very short. So my name is Deborah Palalian. I'm running for supervisor of elections. I am scraping together every penny I can to get the mailers out to our no party affiliation voters because they're going to decide it here in Seminole County. So I would be grateful for your support. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you very much. Represent a candidate now for House District 31. Next, we have Chrissy Style. Chrissy? Are you on the Zoom?
Hi there. Good evening,
Yes.
everybody. My name is, yeah. Can you hear me
We
okay?
hear you. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So yeah, my name is Chrissy Style. I'm running for State House District 31. I am currently on Mount Dora City Council. I've been on council for 2 years and absolutely love it. And if any of you are familiar with District 31, I think, fingers crossed, when I win this race on November 3rd, the residents of District 31 are not going to know what hit them because we have not had a representative in this district that really did their job for a long, long time. Our current representative is Jennifer Sullivan, and she is not even living here right now, allegedly. So my background a little bit, I graduated from Stetson University with a degree in accounting and continued on to get my master's in business administration. Lived in Central Florida for just over 20 years. And like I said, my experience on city council, coupled with a few other things, really makes me the best candidate for this position. So my opponent is the Republican who has collected over $70,000 from PACs, whereas my contributions have all been from voters. I have over 250 voters who have contributed to me to allow me to get the mailers out, to get the word out. I have tremendous support from our local Democratic Party. And 2 years ago when I ran for council, even though it was a nonpartisan race, I was endorsed by Ruthless. And you know, that really helps. And I'm looking forward, hopefully, to being endorsed by Ruthless again later this week, fingers crossed. So I would love to have your support. If you could please visit my website, which is chrissyforflorida.com. You can see a little bit more about what I'm about, what my campaign is about. Really, I'm a small business owner. I own a small bookstore in Mount Dora, just celebrated our 9th anniversary. And I'm just here to listen to people, just like I do on council. I don't care who you are. If you live in Mount Dora, I'm here to take care of you. And I'll do the same thing for the residents of District 31. Just COVID was really my boost for why I wanted to run, seeing the response and just lack of representation, lack of help, nobody there to give us hope as residents, as business owners. And there's so much that needs to be done, but I especially just want to listen to the residents and work hard. And I mean, hands down, I'm the better candidate and would love to have your help and support.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Next up, we have a member of the House of Representatives representing the 44th District, Representative Geraldine Thompson.
Thank you and good evening. I am the wife of the Honorable Emerson R. Thompson Jr., the mother of 3 adult children, the grandmother of 4 fantastic granddaughters. And I want to leave a world for my granddaughters that won't include the kind of barriers and the exclusion that I have had to experience in this country. And so I am running to go back to the Florida House of Representatives. I served there initially from 2006 until 2012, and in the Florida Senate from 2012 until 2016. But my introduction to the legislature came in 1970 after I graduated from the University of Miami in Coral Gables. I met a woman who had run for office. She was a former educator. Her name was Gwendolyn Sawyer Cherry. And she decided to take me with her to Tallahassee when she became the very first African-American female to serve in the Florida House. So I learned from a veteran, and I learned the impact that it makes when you have women in policy-making positions. When I go back to the Florida House, I want to address the broken unemployment system, which I voted against in 2011. We give the least amount of benefits in the entire nation, $275 a week for people who are unemployed. We have 12 weeks of eligibility rather than 26. So you have to find a job in 3 months. We do nothing for seasonal workers. And since I got back from Tallahassee, I have been working with my constituents to navigate this broken system that I voted against in 2011. I represent the area where Mickey and Minnie and Shamu, Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, and Shaquille O'Neal live. So that tells you I'm in West Orange County. And I am running against an individual who runs senior assisted living centers that have gotten over 26 violations, and they've been fined thousands of dollars for not caring for the people after they take the money. They also have a university, and you can go there and incur great debt and get a diploma, but their credits won't transfer anywhere. I'm also running to deal with social unrest. We know that people are now recognizing that Black Lives Matter. That's something that I recognized in 2000 when I founded the Wells-Built Museum of African American History and Culture to celebrate Black lives. So I think that our history is important. I have the cross-cultural competence to be able to move between Windermere and Paramore. I'm known in both places, and my candidate, my opponent, lives in a silo. He has very regressive ideas with regard to a woman's right to choose, and he is associated with hate mongers. We need a steady hand at the wheel. I have the experience and the understanding and the relationships. That's very important. I have been endorsed by 2 Republican mayors in my district, Ocoee and Oakland, and I have worked across the aisle to bring the Bacon home, as it's said, for my community. I have been endorsed by Nikki Fried. I've been endorsed, as I mentioned, by the mayors, by Ruth's List, by Emily's List, by the Florida Education Association, the United Faculty of Florida, because I bring the perspective of an academician to the Florida legislature. So my job is not yet done. There's still a lot to do. We've got to deal with our infrastructure, including I-4. I think the pandemic has shown we can't do education on the cheap. And we've got to make sure that all students have the technology that is necessary to receive learning materials remotely. And some children don't have computers in the home. If they have computers, they don't have access to the internet. So we've got to deal with those kinds of things in terms of educational equity. I served on the board of Health Central Hospital, and I saw the indigent care that we had to write off on a routine basis because people showed up at the emergency rooms because they were working and made a little more than they would, that would allow them to qualify for Medicaid, but not enough for private insurance. So we've got to expand Medicaid to increase access for more people. So I'm running to bring a steady hand, to bring competence, to bring empathy, and to bring compassion back to the Florida House of Representatives. I need your support. I recently filed a lawsuit against the governor of the state of Florida because we're all bound by the rule of law. I am for upholding the rule of law and the Florida Constitution, and those are things that I'm committing to you that I will continue to do when I return to Tallahassee. I'm Geraldine Thompson, and I need and would greatly appreciate your support because now I'm a target.
All right, thank you.
Love you, Geraldine. This is Bruce.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, dear.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much. Let me just ask, let me go back to, is Anna Escamani on the Zoom yet? If not, Susan, I would like to go back to you for a moment. You have been monitoring the chat. Is there anything that I missed on there? We have some special folks that have joined the Zoom.
I would just like to recognize that we have another rock star with us this evening who will be speaking at our October event. But I'm very pleased to let everyone know that Patricia Schroeder is also on our call this evening, and we're really grateful for her support, her leadership, and her helping us to get all of you elected on this general election. So thank you very much, Patricia.
Mm-hmm. And did you mention Sigmund as well? I think I saw something on there.
Patricia's joined us. Yes, she's ready to speak whenever you call her up.
All right, Ms. Schroeder, you are up then. Thank you so much.
Sigmund,
excuse me. I'm very sorry, Sigmund. You're all
What
smiling.
a hell of an endorsement today.
I'm more than happy to be mixed up with Pat Schroeder.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
You're smiling because of,
trailblazing inspiration. Absolutely.
I'm sure you're because of your endorsement. You're smiling because of what happened
Yes.
with the Sentinel. Go right ahead.
We absolutely, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Thank you. It's wonderful to see all of your faces and all of the wonderful women working to change the world together. We're going to do this. I am Patricia Sigmund. For those of you who have not heard me say this a million times, I am a mother, a small business owner, a voter protection leader, and a labor and employment lawyer. And for the last 27 or so years, I've been standing up and fighting for people who've been mistreated because of their age, race, sex, disability, or national origin, whistleblowers fired for doing the right thing, people fighting for their unemployment benefits, people who weren't paid equal pay for equal work, people who were sexually harassed or abused, and so much more. And through it all, I've really been standing up to fight for the people over the powerful. And that's why I'm running for Florida Senate District 9, because we need to put the people first. And I can talk about more specific policies, but I would like to highlight the Orlando Sentinel did come out with a very strong endorsement for me over my Republican opponent, Jason Broder. They not only called him out for the outright lies that he has been putting out there about me on TV and mail, but also held him accountable for some votes that he's taken in his record, which I'm happy to talk about. And it was a wonderful article. And for anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to see it, is on the top of the opinion section today in the print paper and also in the digital. And the interview that we did side by side is online. You know, it's all about, my campaign is all about, my purpose in running is all about putting the people first. And the contrast between me and Jason Broder couldn't be more clear. I want to fully fund public education, and he supports the $1.3 billion in public education cuts that he voted for in 2011 that resulted in a closing of Longwood Elementary School and cuts of about 700 jobs here, and about $83 million in public school funding cuts in Seminole County alone. And you know, I want to expand Medicaid. It is an imperative. It covers about 800,000 more people in Florida, and it creates thousands of good paying healthcare jobs, and it makes sure that we are bringing about $14.3 billion into the Florida economy over 5 years at a fraction of the cost. And it stabilizes premiums for those of us who are fortunate enough to have insurance. And Jason Broder voted against that when he was in the Florida House. And I think it's a top priority, especially now. And of course, the environment, and of course, gun violence prevention and criminal justice reform, and fixing this broken and gutted unemployment system that I've been battling for so many years, and so much more. So we have a lot of important work to do, and I know everyone on this call is committed to these causes, and I appreciate so much the tremendous support that I've had from so many of you, and I really appreciate it, and I'm thrilled to be alongside of wonderful women like Representative and former Senator Geraldine Thompson, and all the wonderful candidates that are here. And you know, I'm looking across, you know, I see Lindachapin and Martha Haney, and you know, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I mean, this is a star-studded group of women who have blazed trails and have really put the situation in place where people like me can run. And here we are doing it. And so let's change the world, ladies.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us and speaking with us. We now do have Representative Ana Esmaili on the Zoom representing the 47th District. I might add, the first Iranian American in the Florida legislature. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Jackie. It's an honor. Hi, everyone. It's always a thrill to join you. So many powerful women, soon-to-be Senator Sigmund already listed a few. And so I always feel like I am with family when I join Ruthless. And in fact, as folks probably know, I was one of Ruthless' first interns back in 2010 when I was at UCF. And so I'm really an honor to grow by this organization. And I always feel like I'm just surrounded by a lot of adopted mama bears. And I'm very grateful for that too. And so again, my name is Ana Esmaili. I'm Zooming to you from my home here in Thornton Park. I apologize for being late. I missed the forever wise words of Honorable Lindachapin. We were hopping around a few virtual events tonight, just wrapped up an unemployment town hall, and then doing an event with the folks at Split Oak next. And then I'm joining some nonprofit leaders just to talk about the nonprofit sector in Central Florida and you know what nonprofits need right now. As folks know, I worked at Planned Parenthood for over 6 years. I have a master's in nonprofit management, so a lot of my day-to-day work is with philanthropy and foundations, and so really critically essential, especially during this pandemic, that we do our best to show up for our community. And that is a part of my work every single day as a daughter of working class immigrants who came to this country looking for the American dream, hitting roadblocks in every direction. And I think many folks know that one reason why I do this work is that I lost my mom to cancer at a young age. And for the 13 years that I knew her, she instilled with me a great deal of grit and grace and an appreciation for sacrifice, in the sense that we all give what we can for the greater good. And many women here, I know, relate to that because you give in so many ways. And during this pandemic, our team has really stepped up. You might have seen an article in Tampa Bay Times, you know, out of 60,000 claims that were sent to DO, 16,000 were from my office. And that was only possible because of our small and mighty team, our volunteer base that stepped up to focus on constituent services. And that article actually was using data from July 28th. We've worked with even more Floridians since then. And our estimation at this point is that we've contacted DO about 13,000 different times for claims. And the work continues. You know, Floridians are not only still lacking in their social safety nets, but we also know that Congress was likely not going to have another relief package potentially until January of 2021, which means we got to do everything we can right now to push the governor on executive orders and policies that can actually support people of Florida. And of course, to win elections this November, because it's going to set a difference of what our path to recovery looks like. Are we going to continue to listen to the biggest corporations and setting the agenda for recovery? Or are we going to center the conversation on directly impacted people? This week, we released our first video of the 2020 campaign. It went live yesterday. I hope you have a chance to watch it. It's called We're Ready. That 2-minute video is converted to a 30-second spot that's on cable right now. So if you're watching Spectrum, you might see us. And we have more videos and collateral coming out to protect this flip seat that we had in 2018. Candidly, our opponent in our race is definitely not a very strong opponent, but I will say that the Republican Party Florida, as Patricia knows and so many candidates know, they can drop $50,000 in a day to change everything in an election. And so we're always acting like we're 10 steps behind and take every challenge seriously. And the last thing I'll say before tossing it to our next speakers is that I am committed to helping other candidates, and I've been doing my best to help raise money for other candidates, to endorse other candidates. I have several more endorsements to release this week of many women running across the state. Y'all know that I got engaged in some of the Democratic primaries against some of our really bad Democrats that were running in parts across the state. And so I'm doing everything I can to continue building collective power alongside you, realizing that power is not a scarce resource. The wrong people have way too much of it. And we got to build it together to not only flip this state, but to, again, build an economy that isn't held on the backs of working people, the one that centers on the needs of working people, and doing our best to protect the environment, to protect public education and mass incarceration, and do whatever we can to guarantee true equality for all, whether who you love, the color of your skin, your gender, your sexual orientation, your disability status, your documentation status. You deserve to be valued in this state, and we're working together to make that a reality. So thank you again, Jackie, and thank you to everyone. I am in the space of greatness, and I'm very humbled by that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have to say, Ruth's List had labeled this as a power hour. And I think you will all agree that this indeed has been a powerful hour. We've heard some really amazing things, and that is why these candidates came before you this evening to say why they need your support, why it's vitally important in this upcoming election.
Jackie, I'm so sorry to interrupt. We have one more candidate who joined us.
Oh, okay.
Nina Yoakam for House District 50. I wanted to be sure she had her moment.
Oh, thank you so much, Nina Yoakam. All right, glad to have you on the Zoom. The floor is yours.
Unmute, please. Unmute.
She's trying.
Okay, there.
There.
Nope. Nope.
No.
Boom, boom. How about now?
Now, yes.
Okay, there we go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. My name is Nina Yoakam, and I am the Democratic candidate for Florida State House 50. And I have lived in Orange County for 27 years now. I'm the mother of 3. They all went through public schools. And I am the wife of 1. And I have been an Orange County public school permanent substitute teacher for over 8 years. And I also have been a mental health counselor, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And I did a lot of volunteer work after I had the kids, and I got involved with a group called Network for Gun Safety. And when I got involved with Network for Gun Safety, I came against some resistance from our current House rep in District 50. And when I came against that resistance against him and his catering to the wealthier people that had seemingly gone with him to closed door meetings, I decided nothing's going to change here until we flip the seat. So I looked around at some people that might be able to run, and there weren't any. So I decided I better run myself. And so that's what brought me here today. And I decided to run because I believe that things should be done for your constituents and not for yourself and your special interest groups. And that's what I'm all about in reality. So with only a difference of less than 1% separating registered Democrats and registered Republicans in the district, we're well on our way to victory. This can really happen. And I'm proud not only have we been one of the first candidates to qualify by petition, but also we've raised nearly $60,000, and they didn't think that I could be a viable candidate at all. And that's the most money anybody has raised against him, my opponent, to flip this seat at all. And so with more than 400 individuals giving donations to me, myself, we've got the momentum going, and we've got the grassroots organization and energy needed to win this race. And so in Tallahassee, our community deserves more than it's getting. And I will champion the environmentalism that we can work to create, to the preservation of our waterways and our forests. And I know we need someone who will stand up for women's rights. I know we need someone who will stand up for women to be able to make a choice of their own as far as abortion goes. We need someone who will protect our children in the schools. We need someone who will not allow guns to be in the classrooms, which are things that my opponent has voted for. And in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, we need someone who will fight to provide the relief of hundreds and thousands of families, if not people that have no family at all. And across the state of Florida, we so desperately need. We cannot do this with someone who's backed by big money institutions like pharmacology and big business and corporations and PACs, and that kind of blinds them and clouds their mind, and they don't have good judgment, which is why I asked you all to join me in this effort to turn this seat blue in this district, so I can do what I know is best and what you know is best. And that is, let me fight for the people in Tallahassee. And I ask you to go to ninaforflorida.com and check out my website, and please vote for me if you can, or donate or volunteer to help, because I truly believe we can do this. We can win this. He cannot be in there 2 more years. Thank you for having me tonight, and thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Nina, so much. Thank you so much. We have had a very powerful evening this evening. And Susan, I mean, I just want to thank you also for allowing me to be the moderator for this evening and listening to all of the women and the one gentleman that piped in. Thank you so much. And so I know we have, I'm checking the time right now, Susan, and it's 5:57. Did you have anything you want to say, or I can thank people? I know there's another event coming that people would like to get to. So
I would just like to thank all of the people who are on the call this evening. You had a chance to hear directly from our candidates, and that's what this is all about. You heard them speak, you heard their stories. Now we need you to do a few things for us. You need to like Ruthless Central Florida and share our message. You need to go to every single one of these candidates that you heard from tonight and give your treasure, your talent, your time, and help them bring this home for all of us here in Florida and see that they win. Do this for Florida. Do this for our community. Thank you again, and we're just thrilled that you were all here to hear all of these candidates this evening. Thank you very, very much for your time, every single one of you.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Candidates, thank you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good night. Thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Everybody have a great night.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.